Hi everyone! My name is Madison and welcome to Get Your Play Online. Today for our Today for our Arts and Crafts Sunday Fun Day, we will be making paper lunch bag owls like this one. And this owl will help us use our creative minds and read a story together at the end. So here is what mine looks like. And I'm going to show you what you will need to follow along with me today. So, we stand up here. So what we need for today's activity is a brown paper lunch bag, we will need either the template that I shared, or you are welcome to make your own wings and eyes and feet and draw them and cut them out. That is totally up to you. And then you're going to need colored construction paper. I'm using 3. You can use more, you can use less, but as you can see, there's a few different colors on mine. And then you're going to need a pair of scissors, a marker of some sort, and a glue stick. So, the first thing that we are going to do is either print out your owl template, this template, or you can draw and create your own. Today I already have mine printed out. So then I am going to cut all of these out and use them as tracers so I can trace them to put them on. So I'm going to cut along these lines. Like so. And these can be a little bit tricky. There's a lot of curves to the wings. Once we got it out, it looks like that. Now, I'm only going to cut out one because we can use the same tracer for both wings, right? So we have one wing. And now I'm going to cut out one of the feet. And these also have a bunch of little toes. And we're going to cut that out. And we have a foot. I'm going to cut out one of the eyes. Or like I said, you can always draw them yourself on the construction paper and then cut out from the construction paper. And we have 2 big triangles and a smaller triangle. And the bigger ones are for the ears and the smaller one is for the owl's beak. So I'm going to cut out one of the bigger triangles for the ears. And I think you guys would be able to draw them if you really tried your best. And the beak. Okay. So now we have all of these cut out. Okay. And what we're going to do next is decide what colors we want all of the pieces. So for my wings, I'm going to make them yellow. So I'm going to take my piece of yellow construction paper and I'm going to lay the wing down onto the construction paper, and I'm going to take my marker and trace it. So we're going to trace our template. So then it turns out like that. And we're going to do that one more time, because how many wings do birds have? 2. They have 2 wings. And those 2 wings help them fly all over the world. So we're going to need 2 wings for the owl, like so. And then I'm also going to make my ears yellow. So I'm going to take my bigger triangle and I'm going to trace those onto the yellow as well. 1, 2. Perfect. So now it looks like that. And now I'm going to make the feet and the beak orange. So I'm going to take my foot and do the same thing all over again. So I'm going to take my foot and trace it. Onto there. And it looks like that. And I'm going to do the same thing once more. I'm going to take it, trace it, and voila. And then I'm going to take my little triangle, and this one is for the beak. So I'm going to trace that, and we're finished. All right. And then the last thing, which is a big important step, we are going to take our brown paper bag and whatever color construction paper you want. So I'm going to use pink for mine. And what we're going to do is line up our paper bag onto the piece of paper to see how big it is. Oops. So we can see that's how much of the paper it takes up. So what we're going to do from here is take our marker and trace around the bag so we know how much to cut off, because we're going to use this to line our entire owl paper bag. Okay? So we need about that much. So we're just going to cut that out. Like so. I'm actually going to cut a little bit more off. I'm going to cut off all the black from where I traced it. Okay? And then we're going to flip our paper bag over. So we want the side that has the little flap on it. And we're going to put our piece of construction paper on top, line it up, and then we're going to make a mark where the little flap meets the construction paper. So mine meets about right here. And what we're going to do is make a little mark like that on the construction paper. And I'm just going to cut straight across where that is. So right there. So now we have a separate piece for the head and a separate piece for the body. And what we're going to do is glue these on. So I'm going to take my body, I'm going to take a glue stick and put it all over. Make sure you get it really, really good so that it sticks to the body, like that. And now we're going to take it and just glue it on. Now you might have to lift up the little flap at the bottom. So it's like that. See? And then we're going to take the smaller piece and we're going to do the same exact thing. So I'm going to put some glue on it. And stick it onto the head. Like that. So now you can see we have two separate pieces, the head and the body of the owl. Okay. So now we are going to find our beak. Now, do you guys remember what color I made my beak? I think I made it orange. So I'm going to cut out this smaller triangle for the beak. And do you know what owls use their beak to say? They say hoot hoot. And we're going to take this beak, we're going to cut it out, and we are going to put some glue on the back, just like that, and place it right in the center of the owl's face. Just like that. Now he's got a little nose. And their nose and their mouth are actually together. That's how they say hoot hoot. Alright, now we're going to cut out the two ears. So for the ears, I made them yellow. So I'm going to cut out my ears. And did you know that some owls can hear up to 10 miles away? 10 miles takes around 4 hours for you or me to walk. That's how great their hearing is. And we're going to cut out these ears. And that's why we made the ears so big, because they're such good listeners. Take this and just like that, we've got the two ears. And now what we're going to do for the ears is we're going to turn the paper bag over and we're going to put glue right on the bottoms of the ears. So we're going to put it right there, right on the bottom, and we're just going to stick it onto the back of the bag so that when we look at it like this, it's got ears. And we're going to do the same thing to the other ear. And we're going to stick that one on. So then, when we turn it over, it's got two ears and a beak. All right. So next, we are going to cut out 2 circles for the eyes. Now, I want to try something with you guys. If you keep your head still and you use just your eyes to look left and right, do it with me. All the way to the left, all the way to the right. Do you see how we can't see behind our heads? We can only see all the way to the left and all the way to the right. But did you know that owls can move, they can move their eyes different than they can't move their eyes? They can't move their eyes back and forth like we can. So that's why owls' heads can almost spin completely around so that they can see to the left, to the right, and behind their heads. I think that's pretty cool. So, what we're going to do is use our eye template. Now you can either use that or draw your own, but I actually have both of mine on this template. So I am going to cut out my other template. I made these ones really little. You can make them really big. Up to you. And I'm going to take my eyes and glue them onto our bag. I'm going to take one eye and pop it on. I'm going to take the other eye and plop it on. So now, our friend looks like this. He's really coming together, huh? All right. Next, we are going to cut out the two shapes that look like they have a half circle on one side, half circle, and 3 hills on the other. So these are the owl's wings that help them fly, like we were talking about earlier. Birds have 2 wings that help them fly all over the world. So we're just going to cut these guys out, just like we did earlier. And now we have a wing. And we're going to do the same thing to the other one. And make sure to be extra careful not to accidentally nip yourself with the scissors. If you have a parent with you, maybe you guys can use the big scissors, but if you have any scissors that don't have a sharp point, those would probably be better. Now we're going to take our wings, and for this part we're going to lift up our owl's flap on his head, and I'm going to take my wing and stick it right underneath of the flap, like that. And that's where we're going to glue it. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on that part of the wing, lift up the flap, and stick our wing on there, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and stick it. Oops. I put the glue on the wrong side. See, even I'm not a professional. And so if you mess up, it's perfectly okay. It just makes it more creative. Alright. And then those are my wings. And then last but not least, we are going to cut out the two shapes that look like a flower with 4 petals. So those are our feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And owls have 4 toes on each foot. So if they have 4 toes on each foot, how many toes do they have altogether? 8. They have 8 toes. How many toes do you have? Can you tell me? 10 toes? Oh, wow. We only have 2 more toes than an owl does. And what we're going to do is cut out each one of these toes. Like so. Whoops. And that's our foot. And we're going to do the same thing on the other foot. Oops. All right. Now we have both of our feet. And what we're going to do is take our little feet and we're going to take the top toe. So this toe that's up here. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on it and stick it onto our bag. So it looks like that. And we're going to do the same thing with our other foot and stick it. So now he's almost finished. He has all of his body parts on. Like so. Let me see. So now all we have left to do is take our marker. Now you can use a black marker, blue marker, pink marker, any color marker. And you can design it, draw on it, do whatever you want. But for my owl today, I'm just going to use this black marker to put on some feathers onto the owl's wings and belly. So owls are birds, so they have feathers to help them fly and keep them nice and warm when it gets cold out. So I'm going to show you how I draw my feathers. So I'm going to take my marker, I'm going to turn my owl sideways, and I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 hills. Just like that. And I'm going to do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now it looks like he has feathers. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Whoops. Like so. And last but not least, I'm going to add some feathers onto his belly. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we did 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And now he has feathers on his belly. And our puppet owl is all finished. All right. Can you tell me how you guys think you did? It was pretty easy, right? That wasn't too difficult. And now we have our little owl puppet. And when you stick your hand inside, you can move his head. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. I think he's pretty cute. So, what we're going to do now with our owl puppets, Let me move back a little bit. Okay. So what we're going to do now with our owl puppets is read a story. Let's see. Let me look in my library. What book do you want to read, Mr. Owl? Oh, I think that's a great book. Mr. Owl picked out a really, really good book for us to read today. Let's see. So today we have The Owl Who Couldn't Growl. I think these two resemble each other. Don't you think? Don't you think, Mr. Owl? Yeah, he thinks so too. So, what we're gonna do is open up our book. And what we have is The Owl Who Couldn't Growl. All right. The forest was quiet. Oh, let me see if I can get everything in here. Okay. The forest, was quiet. There wasn't a sound. A little owl blinked, and he looked all around. The world was wide beyond his tree, and he longed to talk with the friends he could see. Where are they? All right. He had something to say. He wanted to speak. He was just beginning to open his beak. When all of a sudden, the little owl heard the most amazing growl. The growl was so loud, all the creatures could hear it, not just so he sat up tall in his treetop nest. He fluffed up his feathers and he puffed out his chest. He tried to repeat the sound he had heard, but growling's not easy to do for a bird. A squirrel called up to the owl in the tree. Try starting. So instead of a growl, the owl tried to squeak, but the sound refused to come out of his beak. A moose came to see what the fuss was all about. Try a bellow, he said. Breathe out from your snout. The owl took a breath and then let it loose, and nothing he tried made him sound like a moose. The owl couldn't bzz, or buzz, or coo, or croak, or grunt. He tried those sounds too. The owl couldn't trill, or honk, or howl, or snort, or bark, or yip, or yowl. The owl couldn't roar, or purr, or bleat. He was just about to admit defeat. When a wise owl with the soothing sound of flurrying feathers came swooping down, she took the little owl under her wing, and with a whistling voice she began to sing. Rather than wish to be who you are not, you can choose to be proud of what you've got. Every creature who lives in the forest adds their own special song to the chorus. The owl listened, and he made a choice, and when he did, he discovered his voice. It wasn't the voice of the wolf on the prowl. It was the voice that belonged to the owl. He wanted to speak. He had something to say. He would say it out loud in his own owlish way. He fluffed up his feathers. He puffed out his chest. And then the owl did what owls do best. Though the forest was noisy, all the creatures could hear when the owl who couldn't growl hooted strong and clear. And that was the end of the story. Thank you for listening. All right, so how did we like hearing from Mr. Owl? He was a pretty good storyteller, huh? He said that was a story that he actually experienced. That was his real life. But thank you so much for playing with me today and making our paper owl bag puppets and reading a story with us. I had so much fun making those arts and crafts with you and reading that story, and I hope that you guys come and join us again later. Bye!